The dope epidemic is crazy right now, dude.
What
It's
dope?
insane.
Every dope?
The fentanyl epidemic. And
Yeah.
It's
been like that for a couple of years now.
I know. It's. I was reading an article today that MacArthur Park has gone so bad that they're thinking of closing it down. Just the city's going to take over the park and just like close down the entire area.
Yeah, I drive through there sometimes on my way home at night, and I've never seen so many people. Because that corner is where I used to get high. Yoshinoya and Alvarado, Wilshire and Alvarado. And that Yoshinoya is, like, legendary. Like, but recently, like, a few months ago, I've never seen 250 people from 6th to Wilshire, where the hill goes down. And
yeah, I know exactly.
Scattered at 11 p.m., 10 p.m. at night. I've never seen so many people, bro.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
A few months back, I was driving over there. I was going to this little event over on the east side, and my Waze took me through MacArthur Park. And first of all, driving a car on that street, what is it, Alvarado?
Yeah.
It takes like 20, 30 minutes just to get through that street because there's so many people, and the lights are like 2 seconds long. But just seeing all these people just smoking dope right on the side of the road, not fucking.
It's so bad.
It's so
bro.
bad.
But I mean, Skid Row's been like that for 50 years,
Yeah.
So I don't know.
They're
bro.
gentrifying.
They're de-gentrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know if those areas were ever gentrified.
Wow.
Oh, dude, now, like, right across, like, at the corner of my street, there's the Hotel Mayfair. And they used to do this, like, I guess during the pandemic, and they stopped. But they're housing SRO people now. Single room occupancies, free, $30 a month rent for an apartment. And it's so fucking, like, I'm judgmental, and it's weird because I'm sober now that I'm like these fucking dope fiends. Get the fuck off my street.
Right.
Dude. But literally, like, but on the corner, it's like, bro, 11 p.m. at night, there's like 7, 8 people with a loud ass stereo just drinking, smoking crack.
Of course.
Like, literally, like, yeah, shit's so fucking. I can't wait to move out of there.
That was like the situation I had when I was living in Hollywood. It was like right off Hollywood Boulevard, right where Dirty Laundry is, that little speakeasy bar.
Yeah,
right?
I know exactly where that is.
Dude, I would come out to my doorstep and there would be dudes. One time I came out and there were 2 dudes in the middle of taking a shot of dope. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, but it's weird because, right, like I used to be a dope fiend. And maybe it's just like me trying to protect myself from that, like
no, I get it. And for me, it's like I get a lot of the, like, I'll be parking from coming home from work and be like, get your fucking life together, you fucking loser.
Yeah.
Such a fucking lame, bro. Like, get your shit together.
Exactly.
Like, I did it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I was just as bad, but that's such a, like, horrible. That's like the opposite of how I should be thinking with my AA program and all that. But yeah.
Of course.
But it's funny because, like, in one way or another, like, I feel like if I saw that same person in a meeting and they kept going out and coming back, I'd say the same thing. I'd be like, get your fucking shit together, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
There's
after a
things you're
certain
not
point.
listening to.
Right.
There's
Like,
things you're
after
not
a
doing.
certain point, it's like the tolerance for, like, just the bullshit of like, oh, well, dude, I just can't get it. It's like, well, you're not trying to.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, you're not trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you really wanted this, you would be doing whatever anybody told you. And so it's like, I have talked to people like that where it's like, dude, get your fucking shit together. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, me too. So have I.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I know someone for long enough. But yeah, dude, I really want to leave LA in general.
Where you want to go?
I don't know, somewhere quiet.
Dude,
I honestly thought of, like, my brothers and my parents because I just visited Wisconsin. I'm from Illinois, Wisconsin line. And parents are getting older. I had the most amazing visit I've had thus far, but yeah, and they're like, just fucking move back. And so, I don't know. It's so quiet. The women are really pure. They're not LA.
They're not LA
Bro,
skanks.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
do OnlyFans.
Right.
They're trying to marry rappers.
Yeah,
It's like,
of course.
it's way different.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the sake of introductions, this is Taylor. Taylor is a man in recovery. How much time do you have now?
3 years, 7 months.
3 years, 7 months, recovered from a hopeless state of mind and body.
Totally.
Truly. And we're going to get to hear some of Taylor's story today. And he's a close friend in recovery, and he sponsors some of the guys in our house. And we're looking forward to hearing your story for the second time.
Thanks.
This is the first time we recorded. I did not.
Eric
I
did
forgot to
not.
record the audio, but this is a learning curve here. So you mentioned you're from the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you came out here?
I think probably 20. Probably 20. I'm 31 now. I had got in some trouble in Florida. I was paranoid, and then had a friend that I was in boarding school with when I was young, and he was in Seattle, and he was like, come out to Seattle. So I flew from like Florida to the whole opposite side of the country, went out there, got into heroin out there, actually.
In Florida?
In Seattle.
In Seattle. Okay, yeah. There's a lot of that there.
Yep, that was my first time getting into dope. And then I remember going to a treatment center in Washington in the country called Clean, and there's like other program was in LA. So it was the first time I came to LA. I was 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your boarding school experience like? Was that by choice, or were
No.
you like
It wasn't by
gooned?
choice.
Were you gooned in the middle of the night?
I was.
Yeah, that
Oh.
shit's dude.
I was good.
Same.
Yep. And dude, talk about talk about resentment towards your family.
Oh, I know.
Talk about like what are you actually doing right now? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
That's great. What
To
happened?
this day, like, I'm not resentful, but to this day, like, it's like, how do you think that that's gonna solve anything? But
Do you feel like because the way that I had to look at it was like, was I so bad that my dad truly had tried everything before this, or was he just like, I don't have time. I don't have time to deal with this,
probably
or like
a little
want
bit
to.
of, yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
What was your experience of getting taken? Like, were they just like, what happened?
I don't know. I think I went to sleep drunk and stoned, and then I kind of just like I freaked out when I realized like what it was, and then I just went. You don't really have a choice.
Yeah, you don't have a
Yeah.
choice.
I was little, bro. Those two big ass like
Samoans? Were they
some,
Samoan?
like Russian MMA fighters.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
My
Oh,
guys
Like
were.
some
Jesus.
fucking,
Some Uzbekistani, like
Yeah.
fucking MMA fighters doing this on the side while they're training every day.
Yeah, and then I flew to Oregon. I had a really good experience. I was there for like 2 years, bro. But that doesn't solve alcoholism.
Right.
I was an alcoholic
Yeah.
young. So second I was able to get out and get fucked up, I did,
I mean, yeah, it's so hard to get through to people or through the young kids these days that are like,
it's
showing.
so hard.
It's so hard
It's
because
so
they're
hard.
like,
What are you going to say, dude?
Yeah,
They
I
have
mean,
to experience.
they have to experience it.
And it's also all glamorized in such a way of
Yeah.
like, it's cool to like be all fucked up, and to an extent it was
So-
like that for, I guess, us growing up too in high school, because we're all about the same age, so there was like it wasn't so much like social media, because that wasn't really a thing, but it was a lot of like honestly like music and TV, where it was like even like Asher Roth's like I Love College song, you know what I mean, like that
Or
made me want to
like
go get to a
everything,
party and
bro.
get fucked up,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
Miller.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mac
Everything,
Miller,
bro.
everybody. I remember listening to like, Cypress Hill hits
Yeah.
from the bong,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, oh fuck
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
let me grab the
Hits
bong.
from the bone.
Yeah,
know?
but even like nowadays, like TV and shit is like so sexualized and mixed in with drugs and alcohol. Like Euphoria, that show Euphoria is like,
Oh, everybody wants to be in that TV show.
yeah,
Everybody
that
wants
show, they
to
want that to be
like-
their lives,
Yeah.
Also, isn't it weird that like we're like sexualizing high schoolers. I know they're adult actors, but they're supposed to be playing high schoolers.
Yeah.
And we're over here.
Yeah, that
like
is weird,
They're
bro.
here's Sydney Sweeney's
That
tits
girl's
on a
tits
fucking
are out
platter.
all
Yeah.
the time.
All
I
the
just
time, dude.
realized
All the
that.
time. And they're like, oh, these are supposed to be in high school, you know? And like, so
It's uncomfortable to watch.
it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Like, I'm
and
like,
maybe
I don't-
maybe they make it that way, but I mean, damn, it's like, oh shit, am I attracted to high schoolers now? Like, you know, like it makes you feel some type of weird way.
Yeah,
and
it
then
does.
all these girls are fawning over Jacob Elordi. I'm like, that's a high school. They're supposed to be,
But they're adults.
But they're adults.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
adults.
yeah.
You know.
For the record, he is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. He is not a high schooler. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, Euphoria's crazy and yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, those shows just like make
And
it.
also like the whole Percocet thing is super cool and lean, but lean was cool when we were younger too, but
Because all the rapper,
the whole
double
Percocet-
cup. Yeah.
Yeah.
bro, the whole like Percocet thing is crazy because these like little white kids are getting into Percocets because it's cool.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'd be playing Call of Duty and there's dudes who, like, I see it all the time. Like, guys will name themselves like Perk 30 or something like
Yeah,
that. And it's just like,
yeah.
bro, like, you're
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
like 14. You know?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know
Like-
if you've even done a perk.
Yeah.
yet. Yeah.
But like when you're that young, you just gotta experience it for yourself. You know, I was the first time I came into treatment, I think, or like AA I was 18 after a DUI, and I got assigned to AA from the court system, and
That's
my
hilarious.
and my
18.
18
I was like 14 or 15.
your first DUI.
No, my first AA.
Oh,
'Cause
first
my
D-
grandpa
yeah.
was sober in my hometown. He was sober 20 years or something, and then yeah, I remember walking in and being like, "This is the most embarrassing. I do not want to see my grandpa."
Yeah,
It was all
Same
grandpas, I
room.
bet, too, right?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Illinois,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was all grandpas.
Of
It's
course.
not that LA recovery.
I went
Yeah.
to, I remember like I was in so like my bottom, like real bottom was just like, I was alone in my apartment in like Illinois, and because I was going to college out there.
Illinois.
I was going to college out there in the middle of the cornfields in like Urbana-Champaign. And I
Oh,
was
you went
like,
to U of I?
yeah.
Damn.
And I was like, I could,
Good ass school.
yeah, no, I fucked that up.
Dude, my fucking dad is from Urbana, Champaign.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
nice.
I've been down there.
Yeah.
It's fucking like ghetto country.
Yeah,
There's
it's
depressing.
It's outside the college town. Yeah, it's ghetto country, but like the college itself is very beautiful, very nice.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
like, so I'm in my like depressing, dark apartment, and dishes piled up, and I just can't get a bottle out of my hand, and I can't fucking.
You're like
put
that
down
guy in the picture.
Yeah, I can't put
Like,
down the Xanax
in all the AA rooms, it's like
Yeah.
the guy sitting on the edge of his bed, like all.
Yeah. Just like
For sure.
Dude, that's what my room looked like. All the dirty laundry was scattered everywhere. And I just couldn't get the fucking pills off my bedstand. I couldn't get the bottle out of my hand. I couldn't get the joint out of my mouth. It was, and I remember I went to a AA meeting out there because I had tried to go to the school services for counseling and be like, hey, I'm like fucking in need, you know, like I'm an addict. Like, is there some services that you could provide for me? And they're like, no, not really. Like, we have some support meetings, but you just got to kind of figure it out on your own. And there's like a wait list to get into those support meetings. So like, and I like genuinely felt like I was trying. Like, and I went to an AA meeting out there. And I went to this AA meeting and I identified as an addict. And then I had this old guy rail me about like how alcoholics aren't addicts and they're not the same thing. And I should go find a different meeting. And he wasn't like talking directly at me, but his literal share was all, because I said Eric addict. And his literal share was just all about
That.
you know, a subtweet towards me about how the differentiation
We got
between an
this-
addict and alcoholic. And I'm like, bro, they're the same fucking disease.
Yeah,
It's the same goddamn thing. Just different
it's the exact
substance.
same thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like it can definitely like push newcomers away when they hear that, but at the same time, at my home group, there's an old guy who's like 49 years sober, and he sits in the front every time, and there'll be some like new person or some sober living guy get called on, go to the podium, blah blah blah, I'm an addict, and he'll just be like, "Are you an alcoholic?"
Yeah.
And make every time, no matter what.
Every
and
time.
then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, alcoholic," and then everyone will clap. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I respect AA, but yeah, it is the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same disease, It's the fucking, we're putting something in our body to, like, get outside of ourselves and cure this mental disease.
Well, we have the disease of alcoholism, you know what I mean, which has nothing to do with alcohol in and of itself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do, right? Like at the end of the day, the disease is a spiritual malady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what, like,
I'm
but
never good enough.
Right.
I need more clothes. pussy,
Selfishness,
tattoos,
Yeah.
money.
Yep.
no, for
Money.
sure, and that's what, like, that's the part that weirds me out. But also, like, I had to like learn that before I was like, oh, alcoholism, like, it has nothing to do with. Right, like
Yeah.
what I've thought it meant this whole time.
This whole time.
Right now, like identifying as an alcoholic like makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I did drink, but at the end of the day, it was
Totally.
like drugs.
Totally.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Me too.
regardless
100%.
of like what I did, it's like I have alcoholism.
Yeah, it's
you know.
the ism, right?
I have
So-
this thing that wants to isolate me and like make my own ideas, my own brilliant ideas. Like I want to get through life this way by myself, self-will. And that's how I always have to check myself and call my sponsor and go to meetings because I'll just come up with brilliant fucking plans that are going to end up bad for me.
Yeah.
Like, 3.5 years sober. Like, it doesn't matter. It just,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the alcoholism for me. It wants me to just be alone and figure out life on my own,
But
Yeah.
that 3.5 years, now that you have that, do you feel like once you start to see those behaviors and those thoughts come out, you're quicker to like address them?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally feel, yep.
Yeah.
I know when shit's not going well or I'm uncomfortable,
Yeah. My
Yeah.
problem is more like I think that I'm doing what I need to be doing. Like I'll feel okay, but then it's like I'll have like a day where it's just behavior, like I'm so reactive and negative and like self-deprecating, like, and it comes out like I was playing a basketball game the other day. And this like 40-year-old guy was guarding me, and I said like the most heinous shit to him for like no reason. Like it was, I was so mean to this guy,
alcohol.
and like it had nothing to do with him. I was just like, it was all me. And at the end of the game, he came up to me and he was like, "Hey man, like you didn't have to call me stupid." And I was like, out of everything I said, like that's what you remember. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like stupid.
And still, like the game's over. My head and delusion is like, I didn't call you stupid. I asked if you were stupid. And like he just like looked at me and didn't really say anything and like walked away. And it was weird. Like every step further away that he took, more and more I felt like I was like gonna throw up because of like how I was acting.
Because we need to promptly admit when we're wrong.
And
make
you know what? I
amends.
chased after that guy and I was like, I'm so sorry. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it has nothing to do with you. And I told him, I was like, it has nothing to do with you. Like when I play basketball, like that's where it all comes out for me. And I'm really trying to work on it. And I apologize. Like you didn't deserve any of that. And that was like, it was the end of the night. But after that, like I felt so much better, like just about myself in general. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was just, it took that for me to, I
That's
really went
that's how
over.
the program
Yeah.
works, though, because we fall short and react and all the time, bro.
Yeah.
Dude.
I had
all
a
the time.
recent experience too of having to take a good couple, like 10 minutes of me being a dick in an argument, in a conversation. And actually, now that I think of it, I owe an amends to a coworker tomorrow when I go into work because it's just being short with her. And it's not it's the thing is that like those things just make me feel shitty.
Yeah.
Get me closer
Yeah.
to a drink rather than,
100%. So Taylor, we want to hear a little bit about your story. Like what happened?
Yeah, pretty typical West LA suburban white guy in recovery stories. Like,
Oh yeah, sure.
until it-
Totally.
no,
I'm
really,
100%
until it
sure.
got
Oh
really
yeah.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really how it went.
Having
like,
been this is round 2, I know that's not what it's like
Yeah.
until it got bad,
No, yeah, for sure. But like in and out of treatment. same thing, you know, when I started drinking and doing drugs, I just felt like this is going to be my career. This is what I'll be good at in life. And yeah, at some point I just gave up on everything. I mean, yeah, looking back, it's like really had bad feelings about myself and no future, and I just didn't think that I would be able to do anything good in life because I didn't know how. Like using drugs so young, you know, like I just didn't learn any of the other like skills that normal people learn.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so yeah, my last 6 years of using and drinking was Skid Row, MacArthur Park, jail and prison, about on repeat. This guy knows. He knew me like 7 years ago in the Marina Center. Before, yeah, I used to be. I was a cutie, bro. I told you, West LA, white
Yeah,
boy,
yeah.
skinny little fucking hair, like yeah, bro, stylish. I was singer rapper type thing, and a bunch of little bitches, huh? A couple girlfriends. And then the that last 6 years was fucking crazy, bro. I just gave up on everything.
Yeah, man, of course. Like, you know, that's what I always say. For me, like, I had two surrenders. I had the first surrender was like, I'm powerless over drugs and alcohol, so let's fucking go. You know, balls to the wall. I'm just going to use as much and drink as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say, fuck it. You know, and then that's when it gets real dangerous. And then my other surrender was like, all right, you know, I need help. Like, I'm going to reach out for help now and try and get that help. Because I was like, you know, you get to the point where you put yourself through so much pain that
Yeah.
you just can't do it anymore. You know, you just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, you literally like, bro. Oh man.
So you said you were living on the street in MacArthur Park in Skid Row.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Were you like in a tent, or were you?
Wasn't in a tent, but definitely homeless. Like
Okay.
I was
Were you
weird.
like
I
sleeping on
liked
the
to-
street and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay,
I was.
wow.
I liked to. I guess towards the last couple of years of it, as good as I could, I'd like to present like I wasn't homeless, like clean and never have bags and like never in a tent. Like I was just like just be on the red line, the train, or
Yeah.
stop off in K-Town if I really needed some sleep. I had a little couple spots where there were stairwells and
Yeah.
just put a backpack on the ground and fall asleep, wake up, go steal a new outfit, some cologne, wash my face in a bathroom, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was fucking crazy, bro. Like it was so bad.
Before
That's
this
insane.
sobriety, like, what was the moment for you where it was like, I'm done? Like,
So the rock bottom on this sobriety was I was probably 5 months into a 2 month term, and I
5
was
months into a
smoking
2 month
spice.
term?
The 2 year term.
Or
I
2
mean.
year, yeah.
And then I was smoking spice because it's huge in the jail system, and drinking Pruno.
Okay.
Spice is just gnarly. But anyways, and so I was still getting loaded, and someone had owed money to another race, like someone white, and there was only a few white boys, and I had actually fought the guy who was running it for the whites when I went in because I didn't like him and like these little rules he was making, and I was out of my mind. But he was basically like sitting with I'm not gonna even say it on this podcast, but it was like he was doing things that I knew wasn't right, and he was making us look bad and weak and stuff like that, and so I got down with this person, and then the Mexicans were like, yeah, you're gonna run it, you know, obviously. And so I took over, and basically, like, I had a friend in there, and I think he owed like $300 to some other people, and we were gonna have to, it was getting to the point where he couldn't pay it, and we were gonna have to like really mess him up like violently or something. And I had never done this. I'm getting to my rock bottom, but this is the whole build up.
Yeah.
And I called my mom. It wasn't even me who was gonna get hurt. It was just like the situation that I was gonna have to be in. And called my mom, and I was like, look, you know, someone's in danger. Help me pay this off. And I think she thought that I was gonna get like fucked up bad, and so she didn't send me money for 10 years before that, but she sent it right away to this Cash App I gave her. And then something about the way that she responded so quickly over the phone and was like, okay, I'll send it. Like something about like the fear in her voice and all the years of me doing this, you know, and it really affected me and hurt me emotionally.
Yeah.
And that was the last straw. And I just tried. That's the thing. It's like I have no advice. And when I tell my story to newcomers, you're supposed to speak to the newcomer when you're when you're sharing. And I have no advice. I just hit a fucking bottom that day. And keep in mind, I also was like getting into like being a white boy. It's not as cool as it seems, but like being a wood and like running shit and like, oh, you're gonna go fuck him up, we're doing mandatory workouts, I'm gonna communicate with the other races, I'm gonna be like a gangster, be respectful. And so I've heard a lot of times that the real people who do that shit and politic like that don't get high in jail, you know, because that's like the number one thing that's going to get you in a bad position is you starting to get in debt with other people. And so if you really want to be looked at as respectful, you're going to be sober. And so honestly, like a part of me getting sober was like, I'm going to be a cool guy. I'm going to be a politicker and stuff like that. But yeah, the main reason was like that phone call with my mom, and just keep in mind, like 28 years old, track marked out the fucking game, so unhealthy. You know, I'm supposed to be probably 185. I was 135, teeth rotting out, nothing to show for my life, no girlfriend,
Jesus.
Nobody to call. Like, bro, 28 years old and just fucked off, dude.
Yeah.
And so all those things were coming together at one time, and that was the time I got sober.
Jesus.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine it being like, what was the process of being in jail and getting sober? Did they have access to AA meetings there? Did they have access to like a sponsor? Or are you just like,
Was it panels?
fucking, was it?
So sometimes, like, yeah, I had been in jail previously and gone to panels. Pretty cool, you know, but this was the heart of the pandemic.
Okay.
So everything was shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in quarantine dorms because this was in county before prison, so we would just have motherfuckers every week, fish, come in off the street with COVID.
Yeah.
And so, boom, they'd shut our dorm down again, like every month. And so, yeah, we had no AA or anything like that, but I just tried one more time, the millionth time. I got back on the horse. I just tried one more time to get sober.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I lost the desire to drink or use.
That's beautiful, dude.
Started working out. Yeah, go ahead, though.
That's beautiful. That's fucking beautiful, man.
Thanks, bro.
That's like, especially in the face of adversity like that, like, it's just, that's called divine, that's literally divine intervention.
No, it was.
There's nothing.
I completely, after my whole life drinking and using and not stopping, looking back, it was removed.
Yeah. That's
why being beat into a state of reasonableness, because for my first 15 months I had no program, I had no fellowship, I had no steps. I had crazy people around me getting high and drunk.
Yeah.
And God really had came into my life and removed it from my brain and from my body, because that's the only way you can explain it.
Yeah. No, for sure.
You know, like
100%.
hitting a bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you talk about like a spiritual experience, is that something you talk about too? Is that like a situation?
Yeah.
Because for me, that like very similar, you know, like just in a position where it was like I had really no reason to stop or quit, right? Like, yeah, my life was fucked up, but it wasn't enough for me to be like, oh, it was just like I was trying to get sober and I couldn't stop. And then just something happened where it was like, I don't want to. Like, I want to do something different with my life,
That's totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And for me, like, that's something I talk about where it's like that was like the first spiritual experience I think I had was when that came into my head. And I was like I just looked at my boy and I was like, take me to a meeting, bro. Like, please, like I see your life and like how happy you have a smile on your face for no reason. It's Tuesday and we're at work. Like, what are you happy about?
Yeah.
Like that's what it was. He's like swiping on Tinder, listening to music. And I was like,
right now.
I want that, I fucking want that shit.
Totally.
And it's like,
And so you, there's one interesting thing that we talked about last time that I want to talk about again is you mentioned the Pruno in jail. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was kind of a funny story of how it is, what it is and how it's made. And you had a couple funny stories about that. Can you share on that?
I'll tell you the best Pruno I ever had was on Thanksgiving, and this old guy who had been doing jail stuff for a long time. He was my bottom bunkie. There the 3 stack bunks, and so I became friends with him. He didn't speak a lot of English, but he was a cool guy, and he told us to collect all the cranberry sauce because I know how to. We were already making Pruno, so it starts with just a Mountain Dew bottle, and you start rotting fruit. Like peaches. You put corn because there's natural sugar. Peaches, everything you can, bananas, and then it's called the kicker. And you let that sit for about a week, and then when the bottle's like about to blow up, and you hear
what kind of bottle?
Like a Mountain Dew, 2 liter.
Plastic Mountain Dew.
Oh,
no, just a small one.
Oh, really?
You started with a small one, and then you add more fruit, and you put it in a bag, and you just let this stuff rot, And then at a certain point,
That shit probably smells terrible.
It smells horrible.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And in your cell too. Like,
I was in a dorm, but I've made it in cells
gotcha.
too. Yeah, it reeks. That's how the cops catch you.
Yeah.
If they want to be a dick and raid your cell, it's because they smelled it. When they walked by, But yeah, and then you just start adding sugar, a gang of sugar, and however many bottles you want to make of hot water, and then it's about a week or 5 days of burping it. We call it burping the baby because every like 2, 3, 4 hours, this huge plastic trash bag that you're making it in will blow up.
Right.
And you tie it off, and it'll blow up really big, and then you have to burp it. And it smells like strong. You can start smelling it when you're like, "Oh yeah, this can be good."
Yeah.
And
it smells like alcohol.
Yeah. It smells like wine.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and but anyways, we put all the cranberry when we were adding the sugar in that batch. And that shit tasted like legitimately like brandy, bro. It was like 18% probably.
Damn.
And so yeah, we'd have like one bottle and just be fucked up and like. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Pruno's a lot of fun, honestly. But the hangover is so nasty.
Yeah, it's all sugar. Yeah,
it's just all sugar. Yeah,
it's like my Four Loko days, dude.
Yeah,
it's the worst hangover.
Dude, I remember.
Dude, those are so bad.
I remember drinking Four Loko and fucking getting the worst heartburn with that shit going down. Just like,
because we had the real ones. They like with a lot of sugar, like
with a lot of fucking caffeine
before they changed them. Yeah.
We would go Ocho Loco, baby.
Four Locos,
2 Four
dude.
Locos.
It's a guaranteed blackout.
Yeah.
Some sidewalk slammers.
Some fucking sidewalk. Dude, I remember there was one time where it was like our college campus had like a wine night, and they would just give you like for $5 they would give you a whole bottle of wine, but it was the worst trash wine ever, like a white rosé.
How long were you in Illinois?
I was there for about 3 years, 3.5 years.
Did you finish?
No.
That's such a good school.
I
man.
know. I should have.
U of I, Fighting Illini.
Yeah, the Fighting Illini, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking,
I'm still a U of I basketball fan, not a football fan.
Yeah, their football team's trash. The football team's trash. But every once in a while, they'll get like a good upset against like a ranked team, and the college will go crazy, and that's like that's our championship for the year right there, you know.
You beat like Bama once in 20 years.
Yeah,
You're like, oh my god.
Yeah, like we beat like I don't know, because we're in the Big
Iowa,
Ten. We're in the Big Ten, and like all of the Big Ten schools are usually like within the top. Like a lot of the Big Ten, like Michigan, Ohio State, those are always number 1 and 2 up there, you know.
You got some good ass teams in that division, bro.
Yeah, they got, and then USC's moving over there now. USC. Yeah, USC, UCLA. There's a number of Pac-12 teams that are moving to the Big Ten division because of a media rights disagreement. Like they weren't getting enough viewers, or they wanted more. They weren't getting paid enough for the contracts. The schools weren't. Wow. So they were like, you know, fuck this. We're going to the Big Ten. So it was all about media contracts, and which sucks because the Pac-12 is a historic conference, you know, and so many great teams. They have Oregon. They're all leaving. They're all going to like different divisions, which is insane, you know, insane. But anyways, there was this bar I used to go to called Clybourne's, and they $5 bottle of wine, dude. Fucking, I remember drinking like 2 or 3 of those in this. Dude, fucking 2 or 3 of them, and I'd just get blacked out. And the next day, because it was all just sugar, and I'd have the worst fucking hangover. It's insane. It was insane, dude.
I was like in high school when I was stealing like UV blues.
Oh my god, UV blue, dude. UV blue and lemonade, man. That was my favorite drink,
dude. It was the easiest thing to steal. They were never capped at CVS, and like in between my high school and my house, like I would walk, and there was a CVS. So like 8:30, 9 in the morning, I'm walking to school, stopping at CVS, buying Arizona for $1, put a bottle in my pants, and go to school. That
sounds solid,
dude. Drink half of it, stash it. Yeah, dude. It was like
that sounds good.
That was like my routine, you know. Like that was like a big amends where I was like, fuck, dude. Like, because you know my sponsor's like, dude, financial amends. You know, like you stole from a company, like you have to be ready to pay that back if that's what they want. You know. And I was like, bro, that was like 1,000 bottles, like at least. And if I wasn't the one stealing them, I was involved with the people that were. Yeah. You know? And I was like, fuck, all right, you know, like, and like they never asked. I was like, I made the amends. They never asked how much I stole. They were just like, just don't do that anymore. Like,
that's exactly,
you know?
Yeah.
I was like, thank God, bro. Like,
yeah.
But
I had to do CVS amends too.
Yeah. They usually don't care, you know, like in my experience, it's been like, they're like, yeah, just don't come back, or like, good job on being sober, just don't do it anymore.
They don't give a fuck, honestly.
Well, they have like insurance.
They have tons of insurance. They have tons of insurance.
They're fucking huge corporations.
Huge corporations, you know?
Well, I think it's if they're like burglarized or robbed, you know what I mean? Like that's where the insurance kicks in, but they're not going to do it for like a bottle, you know what I mean? That's like...
That's true.
You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no, but it's such a good feeling. Dude, it's so crazy how I always get this confused, but is it 1935 or 1939 the book was published? 39?
39.
Right. So it's so crazy how, you know, almost 100 years old literature that we practice is like, it just still works. Like, the whole going face to face with someone and trying to make shit right, but genuinely. Yeah. And being ready to pay money back.
Yeah.
Is what like gives us that hit of like freedom and dopamine. It makes us feel good about ourselves. It's such a trip, dude. Because my amends to some stores that I pulled weapons on and was crazy at, that was my biggest spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%.
You were like stealing clothes every day. You had probably had a lot of stores to go to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I did one the other day at this place I used to hit, and then the guy was like, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, "That's cool, thanks, but I don't think you're." He didn't know what the fuck was going on. He's like, "It's all good." And he's like, "I think I'd have to call some people and do some shit." And I was like, "All right, yeah."
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what to do about that, you know? Fucking.
That was a place that I got kicked out of, but I go to the gym there now, the 7th and Fig Mall.
Oh, yeah. That's a big. Do you go to the Golds there? You go to the Golds there? Yeah.
I'm gonna go there after this.
Nice. Fuck yeah. Downtown's a crazy place. Like you said, in downtown they're building housing for these. You remember the guy Anthony? You remember him?
Do you know what's up with him right now?
What's going on?
Yeah, he's
I know he's like
out of his fucking mind.
I know he's like I was on the plane to Europe and I was texting him a little bit about like, hey, your EBT card's at the house, you know? Like you come by and get it. He's like, all right, I'm going to send my Asian friend Brian to go get it. I'm like, why don't you just come get it?
I'm
like,
send my Asian.
Yeah, he's like, I'm like, all right, dude. All right, cool.
That's
chill.
the craziest shit I've ever
he's like, yeah, he'll be by the house in an hour. I'm like, all right, I'll just let
Brian,
that.
yeah.
He's like, I'll let
He's a blackout drunk too.
I'm like, I'll let the house manager know. And he was like, yeah, dude, life's great. I got hooked up with an apartment by the state of California.
Oh yeah.
I'm like living like it's a good 1-bedroom apartment. I only have to pay $30 a month. Like, you know, the say like what you're saying is like I don't have to pay anything. Like my life's finally taken off, and but like
and let me let you know too.
Yeah.
The 4 days after he got that SRO, because he was in Lancaster, I sponsored him for 2 years.
Yeah.
He still calls me. I recently told him I'm not sponsoring you anymore. You need to have a new experience. So I gave him my friend Johnny Fergozzi's number.
Yeah.
You might know Fergozzi. And so he fucking texts me and is blowing me up while I'm in a meeting, and he goes, there's people who planted microphones and cameras in my apartment. Yeah, exactly. So it's just proof, like,
and that's his DOC, man, the meth, you know.
Yep.
Aren't you drug tested and breathalyzed like when you have
no SRO?
Really?
No, hell no.
Yeah,
bro, those SROs are off the chain. It's just drug dens.
I was so I was talking when I was in Europe. I was talking to these Swedish people, and I was like, "So do you guys have homeless people over there?" They're like, "Yeah, a little bit, but like they're mostly like, you know, people from other country, like immigrants or refugees." And they like, and I was like, what does the state do? Like, what does the country do with your homeless people? Like, do they give them benefits? Do they give them housing? Do they give them money for food? Do they give them cell phones? Do they give them any help? And they're like, absolutely not. Like, if they want help, the only way they could get help is to show that they're applying for jobs, and then the government will get them help. But there's like strict criteria.
That's fucking...
And
honestly, wow! Like how smart is that?
I know,
and
right?
That's essentially making people reach their bottoms and not enabling.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. It's just like I'm just think of like California. I'm like, you guys get like what? I'm not 100% sure. What are some of the benefits that homeless people get? Like
that $30 a month apartments.
Yeah, apartments.
But like,
crazy.
What were you like when you were homeless? What were you getting from the state? That like, or what is like?
I
the
wasn't
big
like
thing
super like I said, like I was like almost like in denial that I was homeless, and so I didn't fuck with all the other stuff. Like I just tried to be solo and. You know, but I got food stamps and GR, just the regular. I didn't like apply for other stuff.
So, but what are the benefits that homeless people get in?
I mean, it depends,
like Los Angeles.
Because I'm a case manager now, I try and like with the resources, but it really depends. Like, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. Like, you can get on disability for mental health, like depression, anxiety, substance abuse, but there's just a lot of stuff you have to do. You have to be showing up every couple weeks for
it's like a hustle.
Interviews. Yeah.
It's its own hustle.
And if you that's SDI, like short term disability, but if you want long term like SSI, it's like a fucking 2-year process. Of being interviewed and like doing shit.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, showing up, and then they'll approve you eventually, but
And people, dude, like Stan, remember him?
Yeah.
He did that shit, and he was full of shit. That he would be benching like 280, and then I'd hear him on a phone call with disability, like, yeah, my back, I just like have such low mobility. I'm like, dude, what? I was,
Yeah, dude,
I
he's
almost like, I heard that, and I was like, you can't do that shit, bro. Like, you're not doing that here. He's like, well, I already did. I was like, I'm gonna call them and tell them you're fucking lying.
It's
You
like,
know,
it's
like,
like he's like
bad.
fucking leg pressing at the gym, like 5 plates on each
Who's
side.
Stan?
Is this
Just
guy? This
climbing.
he's a
dude.
meathead, obviously.
He was like, and he was jacked up on steroids, and he would like.
but he was like a really smart guy. Like, just a middle-aged dude who just I don't even know like how to really explain it, but
I'm just like, I don't even understand, like, why are you running this, like why are you running this scam of like being in sober living, not wanting to get
People
sober,
want free money, man.
But
dude,
he can get
he's
jobs
And
where
also, it's not like, yeah, that's the thing. Is like, you're not making a living.
Yeah.
You're barely fucking getting by.
Yeah.
With state
Yeah.
disability, with the expenses and everything out here, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not able to move forward in any way.
dude,
You know?
Not at all. And the thing with him particularly is like, I didn't understand was because he was really smart. He was like a computer scientist. He was always like fucking around on the computer, like doing code, writing code and whatnot.
Wow.
And I was just like, dude, you could get easily a 6-figure job with your background in
high
in your-
six-figure, like
high-
250K a year,
Yeah,
bro.
if you
know,
wanted
like
to, if you wanted
300.
to, if you wanted to, but he like
Whoa.
would rather pull this shit where it's like, I'm gonna go fucking get an insurance card and just live for free and try and like skate by, and I just didn't understand it.
You know what his excuse was? He's like, I can't sit in a chair for that long.
Yeah.
I'm like, get a fucking bouncy ball, dog. Like, what are you
Yeah,
talking about? Get
yeah.
a standing desk.
Standing
you know,
desk.
like,
Yeah.
what the level of insanity for him was like mind blowing. Because I think he's still doing the same thing. Like,
Oh, the level of insanity for the guy we're talking about is, it's crazy because it's just crazy. I don't know. My thing was never like the excuses. Like, I feel like I was really aware for the last 7-8 years of my using and drinking how fucked I was. It was never like, well, it's like, yeah, no shit. Like, my life's unmanageable. Like, I'm fucking out here, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like, it was just like the lack of self-love. It was like just the self-hatred and just not thinking that I was worth getting sober and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then not knowing where to start. Like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
I'd rather
Yeah.
do drugs and do this
100%.
shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just like there's so many. I think a lot of people get crippled with all the decisions that need to be made. You know,
So overwhelming.
and it's very overwhelming. And there was this.
you're talking about in recovery?
First
No,
30 days
first, like,
sober.
Oh, yeah.
Well, once they get sober, there are like all these decisions that need to be made about like, what do you want to do with your life? I'm sober now. It's like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? What am I doing?
Dude,
What's
don't do
my purpose
anything.
here, you know?
Don't do anything. Do the steps.
Just do
don't
this.
do anything.
It's like, just
Try
do the
and
steps
fucking eat shit and sleep and
Yeah.
then go to bed.
and go to meetings and
It's
do the
the
steps.
safest thing
Dude,
you can do.
it
in
blows
your
my-
first
like-
But
year.
people are like, what am I gonna like? What job am I gonna work? What career am I gonna go to? Who am I gonna be in a relationship?
God, man.
You know,
I
all
mean,
these
think
things.
about
How can I
that
make
shit.
this much
Think
money?
About how
Yeah, how can I
crazy-
make this much money?
Yeah, and think about how crazy that is, like, from where you came from. That's the shit that I struggle with. It's like, I need a wife and kids and a fucking big ass house and nice cars, and it's like, I was literally like homeless and in a prison cell 2 years ago.
Yeah,
You know, like, I have longer sobriety than that, but seriously, like,
yeah,
why should my life be so progressed? But that's the alcoholism thing. Like, I need something, nothing's good enough.
The
I need
obsession,
more, I
right.
need
yeah.
more.
The
Like,
obsession
yeah.
of more, of course, you know, and that's just what takes people out, you know, when they don't focus on the spiritual healing of themselves and doing the step work and putting that first, and they try and go get all these other things that they think are going to make themselves happy, because we're creatures of immediate gratification.
Yeah.
We want everything we want in yesterday, you know. And the thing with the step work is it's a practice of delayed gratification. It takes a long time to see the result. Practicing these tools every single day,
Yep.
you know,
But also
And it's
not so long that it's like discouraging.
yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
You'll get those little moments of like, wow, like, this is actually could be better than using
Yeah.
drugs.
The
Like,
first the first one is like when you hit a day sober, when you're just like, holy shit. Like if you're not like, once you get past the kicking and all that stuff and like detoxing,
Yeah.
once you get like a day or two sober, you're like, holy shit, I'm doing this. Like,
That is pretty
and, like,
crazy.
And you're like, I couldn't fucking do that. I couldn't get a day sober in the last 2 or 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And once you get a day sober, and then a week sober, and that shit is like, that's what we talk about, the pink cloud, you know? And those are the first like really encouraging moments that keep wanting you to push forward, you know? And I always tell people, I'm like, that pink cloud's going to wear off and then life's going to hit you, and you need to have a program or some tools to fucking help make sure to provide you that safety net, so when you fall off that pink cloud, something will catch you.
Yep.
You know, and it'll be the steps in the fellowship and
You
being
need to
of service.
force yourself to
Yeah.
get to the meeting and do your commitment. I feel like commitments are huge, bro.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I
Huge.
feel like they're not talked enough about.
I agree.
because
Yeah.
They make us feel useful. It's so wild. Like, that's the thing I never felt, was like, you know. Like,
And it gave you responsibility
Gives
to
you
show up a place
responsibility.
on time,
Yeah.
right? Like
Teach you a life skill.
You had a job to do. Exactly. Even, dude, and a lot of the people that I work with, like, it's a lot of social anxiety. I'm like, go be a greeter. Nobody really wants that commitment, but like, so you can always do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, go shake people's hands, introduce yourself.
Yep.
You know, like,
Welcome them to the meeting.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
being of service, because if you shake someone's hand with a good smile and remember their name and see them at the next meeting and call them by their name, you could have just saved their fucking life.
100%.
Because now they feel like, wow, like I might actually be liked and welcomed here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit's huge,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, dude. I remember my first commitment was like, I think I took a literature commitment at like 3 months sober at this young people's meeting on Friday night. It was in Studio City at the Little Brown Church, which then moved to Moore Park Church. But I took this meeting, or I took this commitment, and I was like so flabbergasted that they trusted me with all of this fucking literature and this rack and this like pamphlets, and they trusted me to be there every day, or sorry, every week for the meeting. And it put me in the middle, and like I had my little spiel. I made it my own.
Yep.
And people got to know like about the literature, and people got to know me, and they were like, "Oh, that's the literature guy. That's Eric." You
Exactly.
know?
It's my commitment for tonight is I can let people out of this side door at Ohio, but until 6:15 they can't come in the back door, or like, and the purpose is like, if there's newcomers or people who've never been to that meeting and they pull up around back and they want to just sneak in the back door, get a seat and sit on their phone, it's like we want everyone to go around and meet the 5 or 6 greeters and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
weird old tradition, and
I like that. That's
it's-
cool.
Yeah, it's such like a fucking, like, when you're doing it, you're like, this is the dumbest commitment in the world, but
Yeah.
it's my fucking position.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's my job, and I've
Yeah.
been doing it for 2 years, and
Yeah.
it's important, you know, and it's so weird how that shit, like,
We're all but
makes you
workers
feel
among
better.
workers, you know,
Yeah.
little cogs in the machine that make up a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
You know, and through that, we're helping a lot of people, you
Yep.
know, and we're helping ourselves too. It's a little, you know, and I'm so thankful for those commitments for keeping me sober for the first like year.
Yeah.
You know, really plugging me into the fellowship
Yeah.
and the unity part of the triangle.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
For
Exactly.
sure. I need that shit so bad, bro.
Yeah.
I always try to push commitments because at the same, it's also service, right? Like if our disease is centered around selfishness, self-centeredness, self-seeking, right? Like the counteraction should be like selflessness
Yeah,
and
This is
service.
something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
And you are like counteracting your inherent nature of selfishness by being of service.
Yeah.
Right. And early on
That's
in
it. It's the
recovery,
opposite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
early on in recovery, dude, like that is so important. You know what I mean? Just, dude, stop thinking about yourself. Go do something else. You
Well,
know?
well, bro, definitely early on, and yeah, but also with a couple years, it's that's the one thing that I have to do to keep my like sanity in my life okay. I feel like is just do my AA stuff, bro. I have to do this shit.
Yeah.
I gotta read with sponsees. I have to take, because I'm just selfish if I don't.
Yeah.
And eventually I'm gonna have some brilliant ideas, dude.
And even like you said, right, where it's like in your head, you're like, this is the dumbest fucking commitment. But that's like what makes it humbling. You know,
definitely.
that does like so much for us, like that. Okay,
Takes
being
us down to
reminded,
ground level.
yeah, being reminded like we are no better or worse than anybody who's walking through the store right now.
Yep.
Just because I got some time doesn't mean I have it figured out. Just because I've done the work doesn't mean I'm done. Right? Like,
dude, that shit can crumble so quick.
Yeah.
That all it takes is for me to fucking relapse for a week and my life is destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, everything is gone. You know.
Hey, let's real quick. We don't have to say anyone's name, but because I remember a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, I was being interviewed by you and someone else, and then that person fell off after a lot of time. That's about like the craziest shit I could imagine.
are you talking about for this?
Yeah, he's talking about. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
So like fucking A. I mean, I just think that I would blow my brains out, dude.
That's his thing, though.
Keep it real, like
right?
What?
That's like his thing. If I think,
get a lot of years and then.
well, right.
Yeah,
he's done that before.
He's. I mean.
Am I thinking of the same person?
Yeah. So yeah, but like basically, he was relapsing for a while before that. Like,
this has been his thing. He'll get a year, get loaded, get 2 years, get loaded, get 6 months, get loaded. Like he's done that.
So what happened was, to my knowledge, he was like one of my best friends. We don't talk anymore, unfortunately, because of the whole falling out of everything, and it was like, you know, my family's involved in this. I felt very like betrayed, but that is the nature of this disease. It's a selfish disease.
Yeah.
You know, and luckily he has a very wealthy family that he could fall back on, that, like, you know, pays his rent, pays his bills, enables him, all of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, it would be easier to get loaded.
It's like, you know, it's very easy for him not to see the effect of his using and drinking on his life. And meanwhile, like, you know, so this person also, meanwhile, is like, anyways, let me get back to the story, because this is like a deep-seated resentment that I've done a lot of work on, and I'll just tell you the facts. But so he had 5 years of relapse, and then for 3 years he was, or 2.5 years, he was going in and out, in and out, in and out. And I was like, okay, he's got this thing, you know? But we never really had that conversation. It was like, you know,
if you get loaded, you can't do this.
It was like, exactly. We never had that conversation, and I was in a lot of fear because I was like, I can't do this alone. I need somebody to do this. And I was like afraid to have that conversation with him and about who he was. It just felt like you couldn't tell him anything, you know? And about a month or two in, he started smoking weed, you know? And
my thing is, like, you know, having time, and I'm not that type of guy, dude. Like,
Yeah.
You're gonna go hard.
I'm gonna go hard.
Oh, and
I'm gonna want to go out with a bang. Like, that's where my mind goes. Like,
yeah.
I remember one time I was blacked out on Xanax. I posted a picture with a gun on my Facebook.
Nice.
Okay, check it out.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You could probably find it too. Blacked out.
Dude, we're gonna post that.
Yeah.
As the fucking thumbnail for this podcast. You blacked out with a gun.
Yeah. No, I was in the Valley. I was in LA.
Okay, nice.
But basically,
where all great things happen.
Yeah,
San Fernando Valley.
And so I was so depressed and blacked out that this is what I typed, something along these lines. I was like, you know, life isn't worth it, blah, blah, blah. I want to shoot a LAPD officer and get shot in the head, and that's how I want to go out, right? I posted this shit. And
Classic.
That's
Suicide by cops.
That's
yeah,
out of your mind.
Suicide
That's
by cops.
crazy.
Yeah. And so
That's
check
insane.
it out. So I'm walking down, I'm walking up Alvarado at like 9-10 in the morning, like a couple weeks. Well, I had to run from the cops one time in K-Town because they spotted me, and then my friend was like, hey, that cop just radioed something about your tattoos, you know? And I was like, what the fuck? And so I ran off, and then all of a sudden, cop cars everywhere, right? because they thought I was fucking armed and dangerous and was gonna shoot a cop. Obviously, I was on probation already. Just did a year in jail.
Yeah.
There's people watching my Facebook, my PO or whatever. And so whatever, and they didn't know I was just a fucking whatever and drug addict. And I'm walking up the street a couple weeks later at like 10 in the morning, eating a whole, because I used to eat like one meal a day on fentanyl and Xanax, and it was the I think Fruity Loops with marshmallows.
Oh fuck yeah!
Fire.
Okay.
And I would pour a whole gallon of milk from the dollar store and just eat it out of the bag. And I'm doing that, walking up the street, and I see a cop roll down Alvarado and turn around. Hey, hands on the wall, guns out. And then I swear to God, like 15 cops, And I refused to drop the cereal. I was like, fuck you fools. I was like, dude, shoot me in the fucking head. I was like, I'm trying to die, And they're like, drop the cereal. And I'm just right there and whatever. And then, yeah.
Did you have a gun on you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a gun on me. And basically, like, they cuffed me, and two detectives took me in and questioned me. And actually, instead of doing a violation, I just said I was suicidal because the Post said that too. And these two female detectives were in there, and then they just let me go to the psych ward instead of doing a violation that time. And yeah, but basically I was just so reckless and just fucked off, dude.
Yeah, dude. Fucking. That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah,
It's crazy that you posted that on Facebook.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the funniest.
Yeah.
Yeah, hilarious, dude. Looking back at it, and then there's some.
Did you have your family on Facebook at all?
Yeah, they can probably
Dude.
see that shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Fuck,
Yeah, my
man.
mom and like, yeah, bro, my cousins. And it's like crazy because like just year after year, like if you look at my Facebook, I'm like skinnier, crazier looking, face blasted in tattoos because they're removed now for the most part, but I was blasted down. I look insane, all county jail tattoos, and just like the years would just go on, and now I have a shaved head, and I just looked like worse and crazier and worse over the years. And I'm just posting pictures in MacArthur Park, like selfies, like all gangstered out.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
slammed back on heroin.
Jesus.
And it's just like fucking, I can only imagine my family. I'd call my mom off the payphone on
You got people
on 7th and Alvarado.
Do you still?
Yeah.
Do you
And
still
there's
post?
people that like are like, get your fucking shit together. You're fucking like
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
the full circle.
Yeah.
Exactly, bro.
Exactly.
Full circle. And then it's just like 60 likes. And you're like, who the fuck is liking this?
Dude. I'll go back and like that shit.
Oh my god.
If you can even post this clip after what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Because of Donald Trump and like getting hit and
Old Trump.
Yeah.
Trump bags.
Dude, that's fucking wild. What happened
Donald
to him?
Trump. He's only gonna get more popular and
They're creating a fucking a superhero like in the media about him.
Homelander.
Like, he's like becoming. He's gonna be. He's like they're creating a legend. He has become a legend with like
He is a
the
legend.
the taking him down in the court system. That's not
Did he
taking
get
him.
federally indicted? He's not doing jail.
He's
time.
not. He got. He's
He
a
got
felon.
charged.
He got charged.
charged.
He
He's
got
a felon. That's hilarious.
They found him guilty.
He's a felon. He was the president, and he got shot.
And
in
he
his
got
fucking
shot in the
ear
head.
yesterday.
Dude, they are creating a maybe I don't know, like there's probably a billion conspiracy theories about this already, but they're creating like a legend. Is this all planned? Is this because this is all gonna work out to his favor?
There's like a mini explosive device that just made his ear pop. You know what I mean?
It's like,
Imagine.
Yeah.
dude, this is going to be studied for years
Oh,
and years
for sure,
and years to
bro.
come.
This
And there's
is-
going to
this
be,
is-
you think,
And what was it? It was just like is he can't run for presidency. I don't pay
no, he
attention
could,
to
he
nothing.
could,
Yeah, he
yeah,
can.
of course. He's
Oh,
running,
he is?
he's
He's
actually,
a felon.
it doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
There's very little.
That's hilarious.
There's very little restrictions about who can run for president. The only thing is
You have to be 35.
You have to be 35 and a natural born citizen.
Yeah.
Wow,
Those
that's so
are the
funny.
only two requirements to be president.
That's so
Kanye
funny.
West ran for president.
Dude,
Like,
just like I'm like
You can be a felon and run for president, but there's certain felonies that don't allow you to vote. Like, I don't think I'm
Yeah.
even allowed to vote.
or
Yeah.
or work at Smart and
How does
Final.
that make sense?
dude, I'm just like
Yeah.
there's little
You
very.
can't bag groceries at Smart and
Yeah.
Final, but you
You
could
can
be
run.
president,
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
I mean,
what
have
the
you ever
fuck is
have you
that?
ever have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
Yes.
And dude, this
Well,
this,
yeah,
this country
I remember
is
the
like
name, but
this country is becoming an
wild.
idiocracy, and it's crazy to see like as the year goes by, like how much this country is becoming more and more like that movie, and it's insane. It's just like the level of shit. I was watching like a juxtaposition of the 2012 presidential debate between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, and they're so formal. They're like, "Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, it's your wife's
dude,
birthday."
it has digressed with
how
social media.
Like, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I hope all is well. Let's get into policy. They start debating it. It's like, I agree with you on that, but like, this is something I can think we could do better. And then it cuts to Donald Trump and like
Hillary?
Biden. No, Donald Trump and Biden, and fucking Donald Trump's like, "Oh yeah, you got a 6 handicap? I'd like to see you do that. Like, I'd like to see that on a golf course." Biden's like, "Oh yeah, well, the COVID-19 epidemic. You
can't
got to carry your
imagine.
own golf bag." Like, just like him, like drooling at the mouth, like changing.
Bro, what about Biden
doesn't know what he's talking about.
Kamala, President Vice Trump.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
2 days ago on his speech.
or,
he does not know what's going on.
He does.
bro.
He
It's
literally he has dementia. He won't drop out. Like Donald Trump is like getting shot in the head. Like
sad. Hey,
it's
I
like
gotta pee really bad.
Yeah.
Can we just cut first?
yeah, of course,
dude,
of course. I just want to say, Taylor, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Like,
Totally,
I really
man.
appreciate it. I really appreciate hearing your story for a second time.
Yeah.
I think this was just as good as the first time. And I can't wait to, I can't wait for everyone to hear about all we had to say today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, dude, and keep doing what you're doing. And I love seeing you at meetings, and I love like hearing that you're sponsoring guys still, and doing the thing, man.
I appreciate it.
You stay plugged in. You stay in the middle. Every time I talk to you, you're like, "Well, I don't. I gotta see if I gotta move this sponsee around, and
Yeah.
like see I gotta make this sponsee appointment." And I just love hearing that, dude.
Thanks, man.
Of course, man. Of course.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, and we just, I just keep nothing but upwards from here, man. Nothing but
Yeah,
upwards.
for
Don't
you,
look
for you
behind.
guys too, man.
Yeah, thank you, dude.
You gotta stay together, dude.
You do. You gotta stay in the middle, otherwise
Yeah.
you get picked off. Like
Yeah.
like a sheep in the fucking by a lion.
Yeah, you do
Yeah,
get
sheep
picked
and
up.
lion, they're together all the time.
No, like a
Yeah, maybe like a wolf,
a wolf
and a sheep,
a wolf
or
and
like
a
a
sheep.
gazelle
I
and a
don't-
lion.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay, dude. Animals are tough. It's okay.
Whatever.
It's okay, dude.
Animals
You,
are
you get
tough.
the analogy.
Yeah. A predator and prey.
Exactly. And the fucking disease of alcoholism is a sick predator,
Yep.
Sick predator, and it affects us all. And, if you or anybody you love that is out there struggling, do not hesitate to give us a call, any AA Central office near you a call. Reach out to us on social media. We'll be happy to direct you to the right path. I know the recovery process can seem very confusing, but it all starts with a phone call and getting yourself into the right place, whether it's an AA meeting, a treatment center, or a sober living. It all starts with a phone call. So
Yep.
feel free to hit us up on social media, and or my phone number is in the link in bio too. So thank you again so much. I really
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
it. Of
Good
course.
seeing you.
Good seeing you.
All right.
Bye.